Happy Friday, everybody.
My thoughts exactly.
Beautiful. So good to see you guys. So I'm going to introduce myself so we can get after it and get going. If everybody's okay with that, put your hand in the air. All right. Beautiful. So let's create some space. And regardless if you're down at the DC or you're working or you're overseas or you are in your guest bedroom, let's create some space right now so that we can move around a little bit. And so if you're able to stand up before we even get going, please stand up. All right. Yeah, change that energy a little bit, shift that pattern. Awesome. We can even maybe get in a little Simon Says here. All right. If you're standing up, stand up tall. Open those hands up. Lift your chin up nice and high. Breathe in some of that good, clean, fresh air. And let it out. One more time. Big breath in. And release. Last breath. One more time. Biggest breath in. Hold it in. Top of the lungs. Big smile as you let go. Beautiful job. Take a seat, guys. Thank you. Thank you for being here. And so if this is your first time hearing me speak, thank you for giving me and giving us the most valuable and important currency we have in life, which is our time. And so I don't want to waste any of your time today. I want to get after it. I want to get to work. And I ultimately want to give you as many tools as I can that is going to help you in your life, both personally and professionally. And I get asked often to come into companies and talk to them about corporate coaching and leadership coaching, development. And I say, that's great, but we can't get into professional development unless we first start with personal development. In order for you to be better at X, you got to be better at you. Daniel Williams, welcome into the room. So this session is really about ways that we can improve our state in the moment, go from a seated position to a standing position, our mindset in a moment from scarcity or fear or worry to positivity or energy and abundance. And so I want this to be interactive. I spent 3 hours yesterday at the DC and we had over 17 people in the room. And it was really great. There's a lot of great energy. So I want to continue that energy even though we are in the digital world. And so what I'd love to hear from you is, who are you? Not what your name is or what your title is, but like, who are you? Are you a mom? Are you a dad? Are you a brother? Are you a veteran? Are you an aunt? Are you a grandparent? Are you a Las Vegas Raiders fan? Like, who are you? Share something about you that is unique to you. You guys are, you have the capability to break the internet here, Master. Let's go. I'm looking. I'm waiting. Where's the chat box at? Where are you guys at? Let us know. What city are you in? What city are you from? What's a unique story about yourself? Are you one of 11 brothers and sisters? And so just take a moment to put that in the chat box over here. Once you've done that, what I'd love to hear is what time you woke up today. That's always a good eye-opening share for some people. And I know you guys are in different areas of the world. There we go. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Is that Coolio? I once danced on stage with Coolio. Yeah, there you go. Beautiful. Yes, guys, let's share. Let's learn more about each other. Awesome. Beautiful. All right, great. We got some engagement there. So then the next question I want to ask you is, why are you here? A lot of questions I ask, you're going to want to ask me the question back. Well, what do you mean? Why am I like here right now in this room? Why am I at Master Electronics? Why am I here? Answer the question the way that you answer it best. So why are you here? Why are you in this room for starters today? Why did you show up? We had some very unique answers yesterday in the DC, everything from peace and space to she told me to come. And so whatever reason you're here for, you're here. And that's important because you followed the very first and most important rule of success is how to show up. 90% of success is just showing up. So thank you guys for being here. Let us begin. Today, we're going to talk about this idea around improving and increasing your personal power. And so again, I'm going to ask you lots of questions, and whether you write them down, the answers to them, or you put them in the chat box, or you think about them later by reflecting, I want you to spend a little bit of time right here, right now. The human mind is very powerful, but in the same way, it's very simple. And so we cannot multitask if we want to do one thing really, really well. So if you have 100 windows open, let's close 99 of them. If you got some notifications happening, let's shut some of those down and just be right here, right now for the next 35 or so minutes. That's a lot about what we're going to share today. Is people want to be more present. They want to be more patient. They want to have greater vision. They want more focus, and they don't know how to get it. And so one of the ways that I teach that, because I had to learn it myself, is to simply do one thing really well at a time. That doesn't mean you can't have lots of things going on the back burner on your plate, or the next thing that's in the queue, or whatever your flow might look like. But ultimately, we got to do one thing really well. So right now, the one thing that you're going to do really well is focus on you. That's why we're all here today, is to give you guys some ways to be able to re-energize yourself, to give you some power back. Why? Because we leak power all day long. Could be social media, could be teenage kids in the morning, could be the news. It could be things that are out of our control that we're focusing our energy on. And because of that, we get distracted. Or even worse, we get stuck going down a rabbit hole that doesn't necessarily serve us. So I'd love for you guys to just be here right now. And if for some reason your mind wanders, that's okay. But if you're telling yourself to go and do something else, like switch windows or see if that email came over, or put your background on so you can go do something, just become aware of that. There's no judgment in that, but become aware of it. The first key for increasing and improving your power is awareness. Okay, great. How do we become more aware? The number one way is to focus on your breath. Well, focus on my breath. What do you mean? I'm always breathing. Raise your hand if you're breathing right now. Awesome. That stumped a few people in the room yesterday. Raise your hand if you're breathing. Okay, we're all breathing right now. What's the opposite of not breathing? Okay, we won't go into that. So we want to be able to breathe. We want to focus our breath on us for just a moment. And one way to do that is to raise and increase our awareness by bringing the breath back to us. It means we take it off of autopilot and put it into manual. And so you may have a breath or a breathwork practice coming into this, or you may have no experience in it at all. I'm not going to go too deep down the rabbit hole of the science, but there's so many amazing resources out there to learn or to go deeper into some of the things that I'm going to talk about. One of them is this keyword biohacking, which really means the discovery of self. How can I improve myself? Physically, mentally, emotionally, biologically. So number one is awareness. Great. Well, let's focus on that breath. So what I'd like you to do is close your mouth and take a 3-second breath in through your nose. When you get to the top, hold on to that 3-second breath for 3 more seconds. Exhale for 3 seconds and hold for 3 seconds. And what you will be doing is what we call box breathing, equal sides, of your inhale and your exhale and your pause and your pause. This is the basis of conscious breath work. Ready, go. Once you do 3, I want you to go to 4 seconds. Make sure you're pausing on both ends. Once you get to 4, push it to 5. 1 round of 5 seconds. Be honest. Don't cut any corners. And release. And now go back to normal breathing. Okay. So breath practice is exactly that. It's bringing your awareness to yourself. Now, I know we're on the device. I know we're in technology. I know we work for master electronics, but at the same rate, we have to take these small doses, these small breaks in order to bring the breath back to self, in order to rejuvenate ourselves. And so I was working with some of the guys who work late night shifts, and they're tired some nights, some days. And so I said, hey, look, when you're scattered and you're all over the place, take a pause. You can be standing, you can be sitting, you can even be driving. And although we're going to talk about meditation, we can't really get into meditation until we've experienced what it means to take our breath off of autopilot. And so box breathing is just a phenomenal way to do that. Navy SEALs use this type of training to keep the heart rate down so that when they go into combat and extreme situations, their heart rate is not beating out of their chest. I once used this practice to stop a woman from hyperventilating on an airplane. And she was going pretty crazy in her breath as we were taking off in some turbulence. And I just turned to her and I said, do you mind if I share something with you that might help? And I kind of walked her through the next 45, 50 minutes till we landed. And it was a great reminder that this is the type of practice we need to learn. These are the little, small, tiny hacks that maybe we don't know, we don't even realize exist, that if we can begin to implement them, not only are we going to feel better, which is the short-term goal, but we're going to perform better. And that's the longer-term goal. Plus, we're going to realize that we have the ones that can control our mind and our body simultaneously. Beautiful. Let's push breathing aside. And if at all you catch yourself forgetting to breathe during this time together, again, just track it. Like if you go into box breathing, all right, track it. I did it once or twice. But by the end of this, I ask most people, hey, did you focus on your breath at all during this time together? And most people will say no. So put it out there just to see, where does your mind go during this session? Number 2, inside of awareness, is we need a visual. Some of us are visual learners. And so if you go to the very beginning of our chat, you'll see something called the Wheel of Abundance. And once you guys pull that up, I'm going to open that up and I'm going to screen share here so that you guys can see it, so that we can talk about this visual representation of your life. The 2 most important days in your life are the day you were born and the day you find out why. Mark Twain, one of my favorite authors, some of my favorite quotes in the world come from Mark Twain. I never let school interfere with my education. And so regardless of where you are in your career or where you are inside of master electronics, it is a human desire to continue to grow and to learn. Progress equals happiness. And if there are some areas in your life that you're not happy in, most likely you're not progressing, and vice versa. And so again, without judgment, none of these tools are meant to make anybody feel like they're not worthy or valuable. It's actually the exact opposite. I love to shed light on these things because they didn't exist in my world or my life for the majority of my life. And once I began to see, wow, that's a really cool tool. Wow, that really works well. Wow. not only does it work for me, it works for other people. It became a superpower. And so our job in life is to reach as far as we possibly can, to just continue to grow and grow and grow. And so my hopes is that this is a starting point for some of you guys, or just another tool for someone else. And so if we look at this wheel of abundance, we have it broken down into 8 sections. In the middle is a 1, and at the very top is a 10. We're going to go through these. So if you started already, stop. And I'm going to have you shade it in. I'm going to have you fill it in to give you a visual representation of certain areas of your life. And if this were an actual wheel, when we get done, how would you be rolling? So number 1, love. Love is the most powerful emotion in the world, and it's attached to the strongest muscle in the body, your heart. So on a scale of 1 to 10, what would you give your current reality, keyword, right now? Not last week, not last month, not last year, not tomorrow, not a week from now, not a year from now, but right now. What is your ability to give and receive love? How much love do you have in your life? How much love has been a part of your life to get you to this place and why you have this love? How able are you to love other people, to love challenges, to love work, to love life? What does love look like for you? We're going to keep these short. You can always come back to it later. Piece number 2 is mindful. So mindful is a buzzword, but really mindfulness means awareness. Prior to this, what was your awareness like of yourself, of how you move through the world? Do you have a meditation or a mindfulness practice? Do you practice gratitude or journaling? Have you learned how to sit in stillness? How mindful are you not only of yourself, but of other people? If you're married or you have children, how much of your life is focused on your ability to be mindful of those other people around you? How mindful are you of the people you work with? Next piece is development. So this is your ability to work on learning what you don't know. And again, I'm very authentic and vulnerable in what I share. I did not read a book for 10 years. And when I left the fitness industry, and most of you guys don't know my story, but I dropped out of college my freshman year and I got right after it as a fitness entrepreneur. And at 19 years old, I was running a health club. And I did that for a very long time. Ran one of the most successful and the first CrossFits here in Arizona back in 2008. But I came to a point in my life where I knew I wanted more. And in order to want more and to become more, I had to learn more. So I literally went back to school, not in the formal education standpoint, but in my development. And now if I don't read on a daily basis, I feel it. It's like it's something missing from my life. So what kind of investment do you have in your development right now? Lifestyle. I love this one. If a video camera was following you around 24/7 for a week, what would it say about you? What channel would you be on? The people you associate with, the places you go, the foods you eat, what you listen to, what you watch. What is your lifestyle like? Next piece is energy. And this is one of those questions where a lot of people ask me, well, what is energy? Energy is what you carry. It's your source. It's what drives you. And sometimes it can be your motivational factors, but oftentimes it's your ability to change your state. It's your ability to understand, wow, my energy is low. Let me put myself into a different position. And the reason why energy is on here, because as we talk to this about how it relates to power, if your energy is low, your power is low. Everybody gets that, right? With a device. Well, what happens when your phone gets low and it tells you it has 5%? What do? Right. So do you have ways to do that to yourself? That is ultimately energy. The energy you have when you wake up in the morning, the energy you have throughout the day, the energy you have when you go to sleep at night. And again, if I can share, all of these were very low in my life. And I thought I just had low energy. or I wasn't that excited. That is a state that we can change. Next piece, production. Your ability to get things done at master electronics. Give yourself a grade. Where are you at? Getting results, getting things done. And last piece, the most important piece, is your health. This is not your fitness. This is not your biceps. This is not a diet. This is your overall health. What kind of score would you give yourself? What kind of grading would you say, all right, this is kind of where I'm at. I haven't really focused on it much, or I have, or maybe I focus on it so much that there are other areas where I have a massive gap. Shade those scores in. If you're not using print, just give yourself a quantifiable score. So on a scale of 1 to 10 with 8 sections, you can have a score of 80. If you'd like to share, I would love for you to please put your scores in the chat box. And did anybody score a perfect 80? Okay, good. Nobody's ever scored a perfect 80. And that's just proof that we all have room to grow. Maybe there are areas or components of this wheel that don't even exist in your life. And maybe there's others where you're like 10. Yes. Now, serving some of the DC yesterday in Phoenix, we discussed the gaps. And this is really where you might want to keep this to yourself, or you might share it with somebody close to you. But what we want to do is we want to highlight your greatest gap. What is your weakest link? What is your chain or chink in the armor? If you can identify that, then what we're going to do next is simply hold yourself to a higher level of accountability. On that exact same question, what is your greatest strength? And whatever that is, that's your superpower. We don't want to do less of that. We want to continue. And so yesterday, some of the ladies in the DC in hour 1, they were sharing with me that they had love as a 10, and they had development as a 2 or a 3. And they looked at it, and I said, look, don't be upset about that. This is how we change. We take inventory. We take a look. We say, all right, here we go. Here's where I'm at in this area, in that area. Am I happy in some areas? Yeah. Do I want to improve in some areas? Yeah, I do. Great. That's awareness at the highest point, is the awareness that comes from self. When you're self-aware, you can make some of these micro adjustments and changes, not just now on this call, not just this week, but for the rest of your life. What is your relationship like with some of these areas? And if you're not 100% satisfied, then it's up to you to change them. Let's get a couple scores in over here. Yes. Highest love, lowest energy. Thank you for sharing. Beautiful. Awesome. Energy, lowest, love, highest. Yeah, you guys are very similar there. Oh, I'm so sorry. Thank you. We missed connection. So connection is your ability to, number 1, connect with yourself, and to, number 2, to be able to connect with other people. And so I put a face mask over myself for a long time and said I was introverted. And I've shared this several times with the master group. You may see me smiling up here. You may love my energy, but it did not exist for the majority of my life. I had to learn how to not give away so much power to things that didn't matter to me. And I truly had to learn how to smile. I had to train myself how to smile. And I share that with you guys because life is hard. Can everybody agree? Does anybody think it's easy? Right? Life is hard. And that's okay. That's awareness. Now, if we let life just keep beating us up, then we're not only not aware, but we're not doing something about it. Happiness, joy, learning to smile, positivity, and energy, people are not just born with that. Maybe some people are. but I was not. I had to learn it. I have to continue to learn it. And so part of what we're talking about today is really retraining the brain to, number one, realize, whoa, I put my own shoes on today. I clicked to be on this call. I am in control of my life. Maybe there's some areas where I'd like to be in more control, but it starts with that awareness piece. Okay, great. Any questions on key number one, awareness? Awesome. And again, guys, you're going to get all my contact information. I owe a follow-up email to Shannon with my book list. But let's just talk about one book that really fits well into this conversation is Mindset by Carol Dweck. And in that book, she talks about having a fixed mindset and a growth mindset, and that human beings can only have two options. It's either A or B. We are born with one, and over time, we can transform into another. So I was born with a fixed mindset. This is my life. I was born into this. Nothing is ever going to be different or better than it was. And I usually blamed a whole lot of other people on what I had in my life. I grew up without a dad. I lost my mom at a young age. And so it was really easy to blame the things I either had or didn't have on others. I didn't take ownership of my life. And through this type of practice, through not just hitting my head on rock bottom, but deciding to scuba dive down there for a long time and then come out of it and say, all right, let's go. Let's not hold on to who we were in the past. When is the past? About a second ago. Let's not hold on to what time we woke up to this morning. Let's not hold on to a way we behaved or acted last week or last month, or even something that might have happened to us when we were younger. Why? Because why carry things through life that no longer serve you, that you don't have any room for anymore? That is the true definition of suffering. And it's not just something that a few of us do. Most human beings are suffering right now in life because they don't take time to focus on themselves, their mind and their body and their heart and their connection. They don't really spend a lot of time looking in. And that's the most powerful thing that we can do. So as we move from awareness into the second key of increasing your personal power, we're going to talk about this buzzword, activation. I saw LeBron post after the championship last year, go Lakers, if Amir's on. And he used the word activation. And I was like, I love that word. That is a cool word. He would use it when he was just dunking on people. And so we brought it back home and said, all right, in the morning time, and again, I know some of you guys are on different schedules. When you wake up in the morning, that first 30 to 45 minutes of the day, it's the most important time of the day to activate. Not to plug back into the matrix, not to go down the rabbit hole of social media, not to watch the news, not to just start pounding coffee, but to just spend a few moments in solitude, activating your senses. And so 3 very simple ways to activate, not only in the morning, but throughout the day. All right, you've just worked a 10-hour shift and you're like, you might need a different activation before you go home to your family than you did in the morning when you first woke up. If you can put what matters most to you inside of activation, along with some of the things I'm going to share with you, you can create your own unique way to reset, to change your state, to turn things up, to get prepared and primed for the day. Most of us begin leaking power the moment we wake up, and it starts with hitting snooze. Snooze is the number one way to leak power. So how do you stop hitting snooze? Put your phone in a different room away from your head so you can't reach it. Put an uplifting song on that inspires you to get up out of bed. Write a note to yourself that says, get up, and put it over. There's a million ways to hack it. But just know that if you're hitting snooze or you're laying in bed or you're going right to your phone the moment you wake up, you're giving some power away. And so a better alternative is to have your phone in airplane mode. When you wake up in the morning, drink some water, take some conscious breaths, go outside, and go for a walk. When you come back in, then you can make your coffee, then you can tap in. Maybe you do start to implement a breathwork practice or a meditation practice. But the idea is that you slow down in order to speed up, that you push pause on the chaos that is guaranteed to happen because that's part of life. And we all agreed that life is stressful just for a little while in order to serve yourself first. Number 3 on improving your personal power is appreciation. The bridge between scarcity and abundance is gratitude. Appreciation is a superpower of high achievers. And when I was kind of kicking the can, I couldn't think about gratitude. When you have problems on your plate, it's the exact opposite. Why? What we focus on, we feel. And so when we focus on negativity, or we focus on the problems, or we focus on these things we can't control, most likely we're not focusing on gratitude. It's really hard to be pissed off and appreciative in the same time. So inside of key number 3, inside of appreciation, we're going to do 3 writing assignments. Number 1, please write down and or share in the chat box 3 things you have gratitude for right now. There's no such thing as too big or too small. This can stump people if they're not used to it. So one way to do it is to have gratitude for just this present moment. Gratitude for Master Electronics, gratitude for Amir, gratitude to be able to speak, gratitude for the sun being out. Again, nothing is too big, nothing is too small. And if you have more than 3, there's no right or wrong way to do it. Just do it. Express gratitude. Number way is the written form, which is what you're doing right now. Number 2 might possibly be in your meditation or your prayer or your thankfulness, saying it out loud. Number 3 is by telling other people. It's amazing. I have 2 teenage kids, and it's amazing how we have to force feed them positivity because they don't have the tools that we have. And so some of those same problems, some of those same challenges that we're facing as adults, these guys are facing as kids, and they don't have the outlet that we have right here. So they're learning, and most of them are struggling because they're connected to the device. And so we have to be the ones to break them out of that by doing some of this work. I appreciate you. I honor you. I thank you. Gratitude is a beautiful thing, especially when it gets to be part of your day. And so to add to that book review book list, one of my favorite books is actually a journal, and it's called The 5-Minute Journal. You can get it on Amazon. You can get it on the 5-Minute Journal website. There's even an app. Now, I'm old school, old enough that I like to write in analog. And there's a reason why. Thomas giving me the thumbs. Regardless of your age, when we are gone, which is one day, a long time from now, I hope and wish for everybody in this room, but one day we're gone. And so my wife and my kids, and possibly even my grandkids, they're not going to read our emails. They're not going to go through our text messages. They're not going to see what apps we downloaded. They might try to get into our Bitcoin account, but everything else, they're not going to mess with. So what are they going to do? They're going to look at the tangible assets we leave behind. And in this modern day of technology continuing to do this, it's a lot harder for humanity to do this. And so we want to go back. Plus, it's also a break from the devices, right? You're on a Zoom 6, 7, 8 hours a day. You're on your computer 9, 10, 11 hours a day. The last thing I want to do is go into my app to now share what I have gratitude for. I don't want my app, my phone near me. I want to sit down in peace and quiet, possibly in my morning, in my activation. and simply write 3 things I have gratitude for. Thank you for sharing, guys. Next piece. Well, we want some powerful affirmations. Another great buzzword. Affirmation. It means to affirm. It means to make concrete. It means to make solid. It means to make valid. And so what I want you to do is simply share some positive affirmations in the form of I am. I am strong. I am happy. I am free. I am healthy. I am love. I am present. I am strong. I am unique. Let's do our best to stay away from the nots. Oftentimes that just seeps in. I am not perfect. I am not where I want to be. Yep, that's okay. But again, what you focus on, you feel. So with this, these are just very simple power affirmations. I am beautiful. I am conscious. I am here. I am now. I am empowered. I am willing. I am loving. I am giving. I am hardworking. I am disciplined. I am eager. I am ready. I am willing. I am giving. Awesome. Next piece. And again, you can share those over here, right? We can share them in the chat box. Next piece inside of appreciation is what would make today great? And so, yeah, we're deep into the day, but let's just imagine if you were to create something that you want to happen, knowing we don't want to take anything for granted. My wife left this morning on a flight to San Diego, and I was in the bedroom getting dressed, and she said, bye, I love you. And I said, bye, I love you too. And it sat on my heart for like 10 minutes. And I was like, why didn't I go downstairs? Why didn't I take that extra step? Why didn't I go above and beyond? What if that was the last time I saw my wife? And it hit me hard enough, as it still is, as you can tell, to make me realize we can't take things for granted. And how little of the energy would that have taken me to run down the stairs to give my wife a kiss goodbye? That's what this game does for us. It brings us into a state of a higher level of emotional intelligence, not to judge, but to say, next time, I won't allow that to happen. Next time, I'm going to do it better. Next time, here's what I'm going to do instead. And so in this, what would make today great? My wife landing safely in San Diego, having a kick butt master electronic Zoom with as many people as possible, teaching them some new ways to get active. So just simply share what would make today great. What would make the rest of your day great? What would make your weekend great? What would make your afternoon great? What would make your drive home great? What would be great the moment you get off of this? Again, it doesn't necessarily matter what it is. What matters is that you took some time to focus on that and actually create what you want to happen. This comes down later in the line in meditation as visualization, but oftentimes I coach high-level athletes. We have to trick our mind to believe we have won the race and that we are a champion so that we can see it and feel it before we achieve it. Ice cream with my wife and daughter. Woo! Simple. Keep it simple. Beautiful. Last piece as it all ties in together. Number 1, we have awareness through our breath. Number 2, we have activation through hydration and movement and breath. Number 3, we have appreciation through gratitude and affirmation and some powerful I am statements. And number 4, we have action. None of this means anything unless you take action. Nothing you read in a book or you listen to on a podcast or somebody teaches you means anything. It's just space that's being used unless you take action. But Luke, I don't know where to start. There's so many things. I'm not even breathing. Wait, I am breathing. Where do I begin? Pump your brakes, slow down. Come back to the breath. Take action in one area of your life. So let's identify that one area right now. Go to your wheel of abundance. Find your weakest link. If you have two that are twins and they're both 2s or 3s or 4s or 5s, whatever your relevant scoring is, pick the one that matters most to you. Most people are going to pick health. Why? Without health, those other 7 probably cannot happen. And so pick one thing to do in the next hour, and then pick one thing to do in the next 24 hours, and then pick one thing to do in the next week. If you're writing a commitment. I commit to getting up from my desk and walking a 1/4 mile circle while I drink a glass of water. Check. I commit to standing up and going to the kitchen in order to make a salad. Check. I commit to stop drinking diet soda now. Check. In dominoes, you can only knock one domino at a time. That's the way life works. One of my book recommendations, again, Shannon, I'm going to put it together this weekend, is The One Thing by Gary Keller. It's a phenomenal book that teaches us we can't focus on 100 things. And so what happens is we get overwhelmed by all of it and we don't do anything. Does that sound familiar? Anybody here? Maybe it's your taxes. So pick one thing to do in that one area of your life and then make a commitment. A commitment to who? To yourself. And simply write the words, I commit to doing blank. Now let's imagine you want to completely rehaul the entire wheel. Pick one thing in each area, but you still can't knock them all down at once. You got to knock down one at a time. Be inspired by your own action. Okay, from the top, in order to increase your personal power, to create and have more energy, to do more things, to enjoy life more, to be happier, to be healthier, to rip the day wide open, we must focus on 4 key elements. Number 1 is your awareness, attention, focus, centered, using the wheel of abundance to course correct and make a few shifts. Number 2, activation, change your state, change your mind, change your mood, take control of you, bring your breath back to you. Number 3, appreciation, gratitude, affirmation, impact, give, contribution. When you get overwhelmed with your own, when you focus on somebody else, this tends to go away. If I didn't do this work, I don't know what I would be able to do because my mind takes me out of reality oftentimes. I've been my own worst enemy and my own best friend oftentimes in the same hour. And so that's the mindset we have to have, is that, hey, if we don't like it, let's change it. The 4th key, the haymaker over the top, the jump shot, is action. Take action. Do one thing right now that's going to move you closer to that target or to that goal or to that one place that you've never been before. Remember this, growth and comfort do not coexist. It's going to be uncomfortable to do some things differently because as humans, we get comfortable and we can often settle in comfort. I say, push yourself, challenge yourself. Do something unique. Talk to a stranger. Take a different drive or route home. Go eat at a different restaurant. Listen to a different album. Talk to different people. In order to truly become adaptable in this world, we have to adapt ourselves to multiple environments. 60 seconds. Any questions in the chat box? Okay, so before we get into the meditation, I'm going to put in my contact information in the chat box while questions are coming in. This is my cell phone. Compliments of Master Electronics and Amir and I in a conversation, if you want to go deeper, Master Electronics is providing you with an outlet to reach out to me, to contact me, to say, hey, Luke, I really loved it. Can we get on a strategy coaching call? So you have my cell, and all you got to do is send me a message, and we'll schedule something for the next week or two to get on a deeper call. Thank you, Master, for providing myself with that ability, and thank you, Master, for providing the team with this opportunity. This is very powerful stuff, and when a company decides to do this, that means not only are they investing in you, they're investing in all of us. They're investing in the human element of this business. So thank you guys for allowing me to be here. With affirmation, you said to not include nots. Why? What you focus on, you feel. So one of the takeaways yesterday in one of the groups was, I said, what are you committing to doing in the next 24 hours? And he said, be less negative. I said, no, you mean be more positive? Yeah. The brain is stuck in a certain way, and we have to make some of these alternative programs and changes. We have to think differently. We have to speak differently. We have to do differently. And it doesn't just happen in 45 minutes. So if we catch ourselves in negative self-talk or in a negative loop, the only thing to do is leverage it with positivity. When you catch yourself down and negative or frowning, when you see yourself associating with people who are negative and down, you have to be that light. You have to be that resource. When your teenage kids say life sucks, you have to be the one that goes in their room and says, life is great, the sun's out, let's go outside. It starts with you. How do I use affirmations while practicing extreme accountability? How do I use affirmations while practicing extreme accountability? Well, I would look at affirmations as something you want to achieve, something positive. We have to keep using that word positive. And then extreme accountability. Well, you're holding yourself to extreme accountability because you're being positive about what it is you want to achieve. And so they almost go hand in hand. When you catch yourself not being positive or not being able to share these affirmations, where are you with the extreme accountability? Are you too extreme? Right? Because a big part of this is letting go of the past. So if you don't do one thing and tomorrow morning you wake up and you're looking at your wheel of abundance and you're like, oh my God, you're terrible. You stink. You can't even wake up. You hit snooze 7 times. That's the opposite of what we're attempting to do here. Let go. It's a new day. No matter how dark it was yesterday, no matter how painful it was, let it go. It's a new day. Let it go. It's a new moment. Let it go. It's a new breath. Thank you for asking that question. Let's see. Any other questions? What kind of books do you read? I'm going to put that out. Perfect. Awesome. Okay, great. Let's meditate. Now, I'm kidding. I say that though because people want this, they want to know how to meditate. And meditating is a lot less about how and a whole lot more about do. So you've really got to begin to understand, well, what is your relationship like with meditation? Because if this is the first time, I could spend 30 hours with you right now and it wouldn't shift much. But if you have all of this information and education and we quietly sit together for 5 minutes, you then can go back home and say, I meditated today for the first time for 5 minutes. And here's what I'm going to do now. And so what I'm going to do is simply put on a 3.5-minute song. We're doing this differently today than we did last week. Last week, I guided the meditation. And because I've been talking now for 45 minutes, my voice sounds like this. Wah, 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 wah. And it's okay. But instead of that voice, I'm going to put on an audible. And so I'm going to invite you to close your eyes, to uncross your legs. If you're driving, please pull over. And to simply close your eyes. And I want to start out by honoring you and appreciating you for being here today. I want to thank you for showing up. And I want to tell you how powerful you are. And you're stronger than you've ever imagined. That's the untapped resource that is part of being human. And so for the next few minutes, I just want you to focus on your breath. Equal breath in, equal breath out. And from the very top of your head down to the bottom of your feet, just imagine that water is being poured on you from a waterfall. And the moment it hits the top of your head and begins to flow off of your body, those areas of your body become softer. You're not carrying as much tension in your head or your neck or your jaw or your mouth or your teeth or your lips. You're softening your body. And in doing so, you are softening your mind. And if your mind starts to wander, like it will, whatever it thinks about, whatever comes into the frame, just acknowledge it. If it's wild, it's crazy, it's boring, it's sad, has something to do with where you need to go or what you need to do, that's okay. That's part of this practice. And come back to that water. Come back to the flow. Come back to the breath. And somewhere inside that breath is your heart. Begin to open your heart. Direct the traffic of blood flow into your heart and let it fill you. Let it give you the abundance that it deserves, the peace, the joy, and the happiness that's in all of us is always available to you. And as you begin to settle and your breath becomes softer and the tension in your skin softens, begin to implement the gratitude that you have. Honor this present moment. Give thanks for the right now. And with each new breath in, you're bringing in opportunity. You're bringing in change, transformation, healing. And with each breath out, you're letting go. You're letting go of pain, negative energy, trauma, heartache. You're letting go of any attachments to anything. And you're just being you in the most natural way possible. And somewhere in this practice is your smile. When you can find a way to smile in your practice and in your breath work and in your meditation and even in some of life's greatest challenges, you've already begun to change the outcome or the result. And so across the ether and through the internets, we are all one. We are all sharing equal energy out. Big breath in. Hold and release. Second breath in, bigger breath in. Hold and release. Third, final breath, biggest breath in, as big as you can. Hold it. Smile about that hold. Hold it, hold it, hold it. And slowly in control, release until the chamber is empty. And when you're ready, slowly open your eyes. And before you move, just look around the space. Look at the container that you're in. And then come back to your camera. Thank you for being here. If you guys have anything you'd like to share, any extra questions, just feel free to message me and I will get back to you as soon as possible. We're going to get a follow-up email in the next week with a lot of these tools. And again, thank you guys for being here. I truly honor and appreciate you. Have a beautiful weekend. Thank you, guys.